you see the full moon behind that cloud over there? I originally wanted to show you the sunrise, but I wasn't fast enough in walking. There's always houses in front of my view. I should have started this video right in front of my house. But I am so happy that I got out of bed and took Max on a walk at 7 a.m. in the morning, because I was able to witness the sunrise, and you are able to see all of these beautiful clouds. I don't know why, but clouds and skies are giving me life. Every single day, it's just another beautiful thing to look at, and it never ceases to amaze me. Look at this. How beautiful. Hey there, it's me, your favorite neighborhood nerd on No Shower Saturday. That's what I look like. In my last Snippets video, I think I said I was going to film a week of in the life when I was going camping. But I decided not to do that. I just decided to savor all of the beautiful small moments for myself and just be there instead of thinking about filming things. And I think that was actually a really great decision to make. Since then, it's already December 6th. It's my sister's birthday, and I'm not there, obviously. Yeah, what else? I want to show you what I'm doing with the Inkvent. Look at this spectacle of clouds and colors and light. I'm just so amazed. So, as I said, I want to show you what I'm doing with the Inkvent. It's working, I think. I'm having a lot of fun, even though the first 4 days were absolutely rock bottom colors, and I don't understand. Maybe that's just me, but if you don't start strong, I'm like, my normal level is 0, and then maybe let's say my expectation level, and then let's say if you bring one color that's meh to me, it's going down. But if you bring 4 colors in quick succession that are just, what the heck are these colors? I need to wave. I need to get out of that hole. I'm minus 20 deep. So now even a color that's really nice won't impress me as much because I already have the minus 20 baggage. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like I wrote it in an Instagram post the other day. If you start out strong, then people are excited and are like, oh my God, this is so cool. We love this. And then when a color comes that's not it, it's like, okay, but the others were really great. So you start out strong, you finish strong, and you bury the filler colors in the middle. That's how I would do it. But maybe Diamine is thinking that the killer colors are already in the front. I don't know. I got some new pens. Yeah, I said I know I didn't want to buy anymore, but with every single company increasing their prices in the beginning of the year, I snagged up 2 pre-loved pens at really good prices, and I could not resist the Endless Pens Winter Blitz sale for the last nib size for my Sailor Pro Gear Nib collection. So I will share that with you when we get home. Put on my hat and my gloves because, oh my God, it's so cold. Yeah, man, that's like 10 houses down from where I live, the bear. We have a golf course that's weaving itself through the community. Look at those golden colors. I feel so pretty. What am I gonna say? Yeah, after my hike the other day, I did do research on how to identify bear scat and other scat from animals, and how to behave when you encounter a bear, or what you do when you hike in bear country. And the biggest takeaway that I took from it, great English, is that us talking here right now is perfect, because being human, don't make any weird noises like that would make them possibly curious. Make noises that are human, because bears usually don't interact with humans. And so they would just stay away if they know that we're around. Most of the time, bear encounters happen when both parties accidentally sneak up on each other, which, us talking is not going to happen, obviously. Yeah, that's what I learned. So, oh my God, I love this light. I've been taking photos of my Inkvent, which I'm sharing on Instagram one day behind, so that I'm not stressing myself out, because, yeah, why? There's no need for it for me. I've been taking them in the morning light. It skews the colors, but oh my God, these photos are so pretty. So I need to get home to take my photo. Yeah, I said I'm not stressing myself out. Oops. Am I lying to myself? Most likely. Okay, so I missed you. It's weird when I'm filming a Snippets from my desk video every single week, and then I go 2 weeks without. It's like I'm missing my friends. Golf course wildlife. So what you can't see is that there is I think a hawk over there in the bushes who we just walked up on, and he left his prey over there on the ground, half eaten. It's a bunny. I'm not gonna show it, but what the actual, like, I live up there. This is my house. This is how close I am to this wilderness. And I know I'm not allowed to go walk here, but man, this is just so beautiful here, and the nature experience that I'm getting, the exposure that I'm getting from walking on the golf course is fabulous. Okay, no, I'm not gonna swerve over there. There is prey. So this is actually my Inkvent station. Oops. Max decided that he wants to try and see if he can fit on the chair. I'm not so sure that's gonna work. Last night he squeezed on it, but he usually doesn't last long. All right, this is my ink station. It's basically my hand-built standing desk. And the reason why I'm doing this here is because I have all of my tools, all of my supplies right here. And even if I have a messy desk, I can still do my ink play. And I actually like standing. I don't know why I don't do it more. Maybe for ink play, that's exactly what I need to do in the future. Just keep the station there and play. I'm really excited about the things that I'm doing, and so maybe I can keep it up. It would be really fun. And this is my desk situation, and you can see why it's not a smart idea for me to play with my inks right here. So here's my messy desk. I decided we're going to touch on all the topics that I mentioned earlier while I'm digging through this mess and cleaning it up. The first thing that I want to talk about is these stupid IKEA pencil rolls. Do not buy. I do not recommend at all. These loops do not match up. They're cheap. If you want to keep stuff in them because you're not using it, it works. But for my Prismacolors, I need two, which, yeah. I ordered a new one. And because I have actually fallen really back in love with pencils, there is one I used right here, but I recently used it somewhere else as well. Wow, it's been such a long time ago. I can't even hear. Is this the only time that I used it? Wow, and now I'm using pencils in my There Is Pencil Here. So I started using them around the time that I found that the, what is it called? The Hours Research Journal came in, and I did an ink test and it total fail. And so I am really liking using pencils. So I bought a pencil roll that hopefully has better loops. If it doesn't, I'm gonna return it. And then I want to cull this collection down to fit into one roll. So I have an assortment of colors that I can put with my journal and use there. Because this, using two pencil rolls to have all the colors, is not working. It's just not, and I'm having them laying on my desk like so. It takes up a lot of space and is not really easy to use. So I'm gonna put all of the stuff that I am not using and not needing right now that needs to be put away while I'm talking. Let's put this over here so the cable is closer. If you've watched my, I got an order from Garage Grown Gear in yesterday with some stocking stuffer stuff. So that's here. Oh, maybe I can. There's not enough space. How does this look? Not good. What if I put it up here? I don't know. What do we think? I want to use it right away. You know what? Isn't that just... If we just don't care. I mean, I could care, and I do. But also, let's just see what it looks like. This is going well so far. So, if you've watched my spoiler video, you might know that I said at the end of the video, this is my very last Inkvent ever. Because I was kind of disappointed in the whole thing. And I'm trying very hard to still like as many inks as I can. That's why I originally wasn't even going to use or swatch the inks in December. That's how disappointed I was, and that's how little plan I had for the inks. I am participating in the ink mass swap that is organized by Kristen, and well, I know her Instagram handle. I make plans, and so that was going to be my focus. And I felt really bad, and I thought maybe I need to give those Inkvent inks another chance. And I really love how Gourmet Pens plays with inks in her journals. I've always wanted to do the same thing, but you know how it is sometimes when we love something so much that we're afraid to do the same thing because, well, that's me. I'm scared that when I do it, it looks really bad and I'm not happy with the end result. And I'm trying to get away from that mindset. I want to just let myself be as bad as I can and improve over time. And so I thought, you know what? If I'm setting out to swatching every single ink of the Diamine Inkvent and not ink it in a pen, not do anything with them, but just swatch and give those inks another chance to wow me. Maybe I can change my mind about them and fall in love with some of them. And so that's basically what I'm doing. Today is December 6th, and I'm going to show you the ones that I have already done. I'm basically going one day ahead. And so where did that, let me make sure that I'm not showing you the... So when I got my Pannonia Inky Converters, I started playing because I wanted to try out how it felt, how comfortable I felt with this. And I realized right away that this is much harder than I thought it was. So I practiced one more time with an ink that I got in when I got a new pen. I'm going to show those to you as well. So I tried it here because originally I was going to just use half a page, but this felt like not enough space. So I tried it on MD paper right over here, and I have to tell you that I have slowly fallen in love with MD paper more and more. I actually really love how this ink performs and looks on the cream MD paper more than over here on the Sanzen Tomoe River paper. This is how much I have fallen in love with this paper. So I tried it again. I tried some shapes. I copied some ideas from several creators. You might recognize, there's not a lot of stuff on here, but this kind of reminds me of Maike from Maike Oatley, Cat Collage Club, this as well. This right here is very reminiscent of Ella Nim when she swatches inks. This here and here I got from 30 Inks 30 Days from La Lune Bunny. This is Ella Nim. She does this kind of stuff. There. This reminds me of Maike again. And number one, I want to say, first of all, it's always, when you start trying to do something new, it's always great to take ideas and inspiration from the people that you thought were doing this stuff great already. I think, now I'm biased, you might think differently, that all of the things that I'm doing here are different enough from those creators to not... If they looked at this page, they might say, oh, I'm doing the same thing right here, but maybe not even think, oh, she's copying my style. There's a difference, a nuanced difference. And I think, maybe I'm the only one, it's okay when you start to try something new to very closely follow someone else's lead. And my hope for my practice is that the more I follow the recipe, the looser I get. The more comfortable I get, the less recipe and prescribed exercise it is, the more loose I get. The more out of my head I get, the more free I get. So I tried this, and then we started the Inkvent. So again, as you can see, there is a lot of, I'm always flipping back to this page to look for stuff that I can do. Same here, this was day one. I don't really like how these turned out, so I'm not repeating them, but there's a lot of these elements here that you can see in the other pages. So my issue with the Diamine Inkvent has been I mentioned it in the intro. I feel like when you start out something with an ink that looks exactly like another ink from another brand that has been a fan favorite for years, controversial sheening inks. There's a lot of people who don't like sheen. I know there's a lot of people who like sheen, but in my opinion, there's more people who don't like it. A new pigment ink, but in a color that is so loud, so, in my opinion, unusable, it doesn't even make me excited about pigment inks. And then the fourth day is a scented ink. Well, you could say, well, we got all the bad things out of the way first. I think that you are setting yourself up for failure for the following days, because people remember, they are not excited to open the next ink. Even if it's a banger, they're like, ugh, but the rest was bad. So for instance, let's look at Colorvent. Days 1, 2, and 3 were amazing inks. I think day 4, or maybe even day 5, 6, was a blue ink that looks very much like Konpeki, has a red sheen. It's nothing inventive, but people are more likely to accept that standard blue ink, red sheen ink because Colorverse has redeemed itself from the boring light inks, blue inks with those banger inks in the beginning days of the Colorvent. And so people are forgiving, or saying, okay, well, let's see what the next day is going to bring. But if you're in a slug for 4 days, then how are you ever going to get yourself out and get the people excited about the next inks? So this was day 1. It felt not at all relaxed. It felt very prescribed. Day 2, I felt, was the first one where, okay, I don't really like the ink in this heavy application with this green sheen, but I love what it does when it's with water. I love the differences here. What I noticed so far in the first 4 days is that there's no real split into different colors. It's teal, and this is just a watered down teal. There's no other color that stands out here. Same with this one. Again, you can see the same elements coming. Day 4, I started, so here I put sheen. Here I put shimmer right underneath, and then I started to hide this in here. I really like how this turned out. I love how these 2 flower details. This is something that I saw on Maike's video, and I feel like I copied it right away. Maybe if she looks at this, she's like, this is nothing look like my professional flowers. And I would hope that that's how she feels about these. I love these rainbows. I started to play around with this kind of element here. I like these things right here with this. This looks like a caterpillar somehow to me, to my eyes. I'm always bringing in one of these flowers. There's the circle with these diamond shapes inside. The birds, I like those crosses. I started doing those here. I'm not sure they are in here. Nope. But that's when I started those. So the elements are always here, but they're distributed differently. And this is when I first felt like, oh, I'm feeling more confident in this now. This is day 4. I put this element in that I hadn't had before. I think I dropped another drop down here and I didn't really know what to do with it. Sent it right here. Tiny rainbow with a flower on the bottom. I'm starting to use this one as well. These are just flowers that I tried out when I swatched the Pannonia Inky Converters Blue-Tongued Skink. I tried some florals. This is Micah Oatley inspired and our studio inspired. There's a tree here. So I've been playing with a little bit of stuff here. Then this is day 5. This is the first ink where you can see, oh, I hope I'm not shaking too much, where it falls apart into some colors. There's some pinks, there's a green halo around here. I'm trying lighter applications and then going over with a dip pen. I really like that. There's the caterpillar again. There's a floral here. This one doesn't feel that great. I'm learning that I don't have to use the same dip pen, so I'm using different types of dip pens. So I can make the shape with a fatter line and then come in with a finer line. Yeah. This I really like. And then this is day 6, which is today. This is the very first one that I am. So I wasn't excited about this. I think I remember I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. But now that I'm playing with them, I'm giving them a chance. I'm looking back at it. I feel happier about the whole experience in general. I really like this one. And I think this is the first ink that I want to put into pens. Now, I'm going to move to the pens in a second, but this, I don't think I looked at any of the previous images once when I made this one here. And I like that I'm starting to be more free. And I think this is chameleon shimmer. Here's the word. I tried to sketch a chameleon right here. I think this is green and pink shimmer in here. So I wrote it up here. This floral is kind of like, I don't know about this. These ones are almost too elaborate for this whole sketching thing. But yeah, you know, I'm giving myself the opportunity to play, and just there is no right or wrong way to do this, and that's so cool about it. So that's where I am with the inky messes, and we're only on day 6, so I am super excited to keep up this practice for 25 days. I am actually considering just continuing with this practice with all of the inks that I own currently. And then I pulled out this. I'm trying to fill all of the weird sketchbooks and journals that I have, because it doesn't really make sense to have them sitting around here. So I started with this. This is watercolor paper, and it's not really good for dip pens. It works well with brushes, but not the greatest with dip pens. I love this. I want to cut it out and use it somehow. I feel like this looks like an animal. It was totally unintentional. The only thing that I added is these boots. And then I started the leftover ink in my ink miser. I started dripping down onto the page. And this looks... I originally wanted this to be more... This wasn't supposed to happen right here, but there was so much ink left, and then I probably would need to tape it down. Oh my gosh, no. I can see pink from my angle, but you're seeing green. Here, there you go. So because it starts to curl up, and then there's valleys and mountains, and then these kinds of things happen. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue in here or if I'm moving over to a bigger one. This one is Kansen XL watercolor paper. There's another one from Kansan that is pen and ink. I unfortunately don't have that, and I want to use up this one first. But yeah, this is really fun to just give myself the permission to play with these inks in any way, shape, or form. And I might go back to this with leftover ink and just trying out stuff per se. So yeah, that's the play stuff. I'm going to keep this right here, and I'm going to move this over there, this on the floor. Max is still on the chair, by the way, which I'm happy for him that he can manage. So I purchased pre-loved fountain pens, kind of panic bought, but also now that Sailor, Platinum, and Pilot, all three announced that they're going to raise their prices in January of 2026, I'm really happy that I did overspend on my budget. And when I say I overspent on my budget, I just want to mention this before. I am not overspending on the money that we have. I can still buy food and all the daily necessities for my life. I just spend more money than I make with YouTube and the Atlas affiliate credit. Now, I'm still not sure if I'm going to apply for the Atlas affiliate thing. Today, at this point in time, I really don't care. I'm going to look at... Care sounds weird. I love how free I am in what I'm doing. That I can post the Diamine Inkvent the day after without any fear of not fulfilling an affiliate contract or some sort of, if this was gifted to me and they said, you need to post this every day, I would feel stressed. And I love that I'm not stressed. And maybe I'll just need to leave it as that, depending on how much and what I need to do for Atlas. And also, there's people who really work their butts off to be affiliates for Atlas stationers, and so I think they deserve it more, kind of. So these are the two inks that I'm considering putting in, but my problem is this month that I actually really, really want to use all of these pens. Now, let me put my book away and then I'll introduce you to my new pens, but let me pull them out and show you what I have Frankensteined, because the pens that I purchased are mostly to Frankenstein them. So this one is a pen that was gifted to me. I did not Frankenstein it. It already came Frankensteined. This is a Ranga pen with a Schaefer nib and grip section. I think this is a steel nib. It's not I don't think it was an expensive pen in the first place. But the fact that I can try it out and use it is so amazing. My friend Jamie at PenXer on Instagram gifted this to me in a recent ink Happy Meal, and I haven't really used it yet, so I felt like I would want to use this and try it out. The thing is, a lot of these nibs are nibs I want to try again, and I don't really think how well they mix with all of the weird stuff that is in those inks, which makes me super hesitant to ink up stuff. Then I have, this is my Bone Crusher 7 Studios Velma. I put in I could use this one. This is a fine elastic nib that has, maybe we can look at it and see it. Does it focus? This has C. Monet engraved and then a YouTube play button. My friend Shauna gifted this to me, and I thought, I haven't used it in a long time. And so I'm trying to use all of those nibs that I wasn't sure about, because I had such great experiences with my broad sig nib the other day. I felt like the other day, all of November, I thought, you know what? In order to figure out which nibs work for me right now, I need to use them and give them another chance. These were all kind of, taken out because I'm not super excited about them, that type of stuff. So I want to use this. Then I have the Zoom nib that was also gifted to me by Shauna, I believe, yes, from the Good Blue on here. This has a very broad line. And I struggled with using this before. But the reason why I'm rediscovering those stubby nibs, the nibs with broader lines, is because I switched my journal that I'm using my fountain pens in from the Hobonichi tiny grid, which I learned and noticed was not conducive to my way of writing and journaling, to a lined journal. And these lines are kind of still pretty narrow. Here, I hope you can see these. And all of the pens work so much better for me. So that is definitely one of those lessons I learned this year, that for long form journaling, I actually prefer lined lines in my journal, or a grid that is so huge that it basically doesn't exist. This is the pen that I purchased from Endless Pens. It is the Sailor 1911 Large Ringless Galaxy. This is the Andromeda color. And I picked one where I felt like this color is so muddy and swampy. I wouldn't feel bad if I just Frankensteined, took out the nib and used it on a maker pen, which is this one. So I have the section right here. I haven't removed it yet because I have run out of maker pens to Frankenstein. So if all of these nibs that I have on these pens right now work out, I still have 2 more nibs that I can use without, oh no, not even true. 3 more nibs that don't have homes. So I have my Monarch in the fine, not housed. I have my Sailor in the medium nib, not housed. And I have a new Sailor nib that I could house in a maker pen because I have a grip section for it. Not a grip section, a nib housing for it. This is the medium fine. So yeah, that gives me the opportunity to purchase 2 more maker pens when I'm going to the Philly Pen Show in January. Yeah, since I'm not really saving up my YouTube money for the Philly Pen Show, I'm going to be in a big pickle. So I'm not going to be able to spend unless I'm selling pens. But currently, as I told you in other videos, I am not really seeing me letting go of many of the pens. So I am just going to keep this nib in this pen right now. Want to see how the writing experience is with this nib. I tested it. It's right here. My first impression, I wanted to add a medium fine nib to my Sailor collection so badly that I could not resist the price of the ringless Sailor 1911 larges. I picked the ugliest one so I wouldn't feel bad when I pulled the nib, lol. It definitely worked. Ever since I tried the medium fine that Nadia loaned to me, I was scared of them, but this one is amazing, right out of the box. So good. Now I need another Sailor adapter. I think I'll use it without, just in the pen first. So yeah, so that's when I decided I'm just going to use it in the pen. And I mean, I kind of have a type. Maybe it isn't that ugly to begin with. So I want to use this one. Then I have my Skogsy low volume eyedropper. This I think is my favorite pen of the year. And I remember when I said that I didn't like platinum gold nibs, the platinum 3776s. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't using the right inks. Maybe I just wasn't using the right nib size. But I actually, I feel so my Platinum 3776 story goes something like, I purchased a Platinum 3776 for $80 on Amazon. Then I swapped it with a friend because I won a Sailor Platinum 3776 in the same nib size. Then I sold that 3776 that I won because I just couldn't use it. It didn't work well with the inks that I put in. Then I bought an extra fine 3776, and I got both pens that I had left, the broad nib as well as the extra fine nib, ground the extra fine to a monoline, the broad nib to a reverse architect with a very fine right side nib grind, and both didn't make me happy, so I sold both of them. I didn't have anyone and decided, well, I guess platinum pens don't work for me. Then my friend Wendy Sue told me that using the Platinum 3776 nib was her favorite nib to Frankenstein. And I'm like, really? I can't believe this. And then my friend Maike sold her 3776 in a medium nib. So I'm back where I started. I just spent like almost double the original price I paid for the nib. So here we are, Platinum 3776 medium nib, and I put it into the Skogsy low volume eyedropper. You might ask why. I can read you the first impression. I did not miss this pen at all after I swapped and sold all the different nib sizes. But when Wendy Sue kept talking about the 3776 and how this is her most Frankenstein nibbed, I put it on my if I find a good used deal, I'll try it list. And then Maike sold her pen and I snagged it up. And the second I started writing with it, I was like, welcome home, long lost child. I missed you. What the heck? The nib is amazing, but the rest, the pen is not comfortable, is still true. Now to figure out how to remove the nib and feed without ruining the pen. If it all works out, it's going on my Opus 88 demo. Now, I tried it on the Opus 88 demo, and the problem with the Platinum 3776 feed is that it has this huge nobbin sticking out of there. And that is totally fine and works, but it doesn't feel safe to me to put that in the Opus 88 with this piston knob right here that seals the chamber because it sticks out. So I have to have it open all the time, and I don't trust myself to not forget, screw it tight and ruin something. So that's what I definitely did not do. But I also really like that nib so much that I feel like this might be the marriage of the year. This nib with this pen could be my all-time favorite thing that has ever happened to me. So I want to ink this up, but also I don't want to ink this up with something that will make me regret the choice. So see where I'm in the pickle here. So then I moved my Pilot number 5 medium nib over to this pen. It's a smaller nib, but for some reason, even though this pen looks clunky and chunky when I look at it, capped, I don't think it looks too bad with this smaller nib. Let's compare this to this nib, for instance. We can see there's a big difference in size. So I want to use this one in here just to see how I feel about the medium nib in this pen. And then I really want to use the Arkenstone from Mayfair with my Pilot FA nib. I haven't used that and I miss it. Then I also want to try or use another one of the pen nibs. This is the Franklin Christoph Sig nib in extra fine. And I want to try this out yet again because I didn't like the experience the last time, and so I need quite a wet ink in here just to see, because I'm also debating maybe I want to get another Sig nib but in fine. I have a broad, I have a medium, this is the extra fine. Yeah, just writing experience wise. Then I pulled out this. This is my Lamy 2000. I looked through my pen collection and I missed it. I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, I really miss you. Let me ink you up in December. So I pulled it out. And then this is the last pen. This is my White Bear pens. And I have another new nib. I'm not sure this nib is going to, maybe this needs tuning, I'm not sure. Here is the Pilot Custom 74 with a fine nib. First impression here is, well, this is a fine nib. Wow, it's definitely finer, or definitely fine, much finer than I expected. The nib might be a little misaligned, I'm not sure. I had some really dry upstrokes, but it didn't snag anywhere. It just feels weird. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out when I have put it into the new pen housing and pen, into the new housing and pen, because this pen body is just so uncomfortable. I remember now why I would not reach for my Custom 74 anymore. Coincidentally, this is also a burgundy pen body, lol. And I wrote this and my hands hurt. This definitely is a pen that is too narrow for me. I do not enjoy the writing experience with it, and I'm really excited to be using it in this, and I'll figure out if it's misaligned, if I like the writing experience with it or not when I use it. That's why I really want to use it in December, so that I can make a decision before I leave for Philly to see what I want to take, what nibs I want to take. I already have 3 pens on my bring list, and then I thought about maybe getting this medium nib ground as well into maybe a Sig-like cursive, smooth, italic, or stub nib, and then this one tuned. But that would mean, let's just say that a nibmeister can do maybe he grinds one nib and tunes 2 other nibs. So could do 2 pens comfortably in a session. I definitely need one more nib grinder appointment for the pen show, because I would have too many, and I probably will need to make a priorities list to figure out what am I going to pull out first to be actually really looked at. I mean, I could also just have them take the nibs and check them out and tune them, but you know, we'll see. I have an appointment with JJ Lax for sure, but I just haven't figured out which other Nibmeisters are going and how their appointment system works. Kirkspear is definitely not going because they are opening a brick and mortar store, which is really exciting. So, now that I talked about the pens, man, that's what I missed. I just love talking about these pens so much, and look at all of those maker pens. I'm really hesitant to ink up Mary Rose, Fur and Fog. What did I say? Did I say I could put it in here? Yes. Yeah, that's this. Or maybe in the... What if I tried it in the Zoom nib? Wouldn't that be a thing? I'm really struggling with my plan. I was going to just use Inkmass inks and Inkvent inks in December lineup, but I also do have one ink. Yeah, I went from 0 Tono and Limbs inks to 4. So I have Fog City Love and Bichorium. I bought this. And then I purchased these two, which now I have Bichorium and Bichorium Ion. So we should compare these. That's why I said I want to do more and more of those ink swatches. I have Holy Night, so I might want to put this ink into a pen and just relax on my rules, right? That's a plan. That's always a good plan. If you're unhappy with your own rules, you need to change them. So I also wanted to show you these ink samples that I received from both people that sold the used pens to me. So Mike has sent 4 Tono and Limbs inks. Tono and Limbs Noble Spirit. Oh my God, this is so pretty. Tree, this is a pigment ink. The Soul of the Rose is a dip pen only ink. And then Kai Waikiki, obviously this has my heart because I seem to fall for these types of inks all the time. But this one, man, oh, so lovely. And then the Laura Lively Plans. Lively Plans? I will link her channel in the description box down below. You can check her out because she has a YouTube channel as well. She is someone who loves broad nibs, and so this fine nib just wasn't her thing. She sent me these 3. Vinta Takip Slim, which I'm like, okay, I need a bottle of this. And then Kitty Inkpot, a certain peach tree, my very first Kitty Inkpot ink, like this. And then Fanyantan Dream Floating Bridge. Now, I am super hesitant to use this in a pen because I use the same dip pen for all 3 of these. And look how broad the writing is. It feels like there's way too much ink wetter in this ink. And I can't imagine that this is going to be a good writing experience. It did not bleed through. That's what usually happens when there's too much ink wetter in the pen. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work. So, why don't I said I'm going to use this and this, and then I felt like Holy Night was kind of dry, but also I really, really want to use this pen. If I put it in here. The thing is, I don't have all of these inks at hand, so I don't know what else is coming. I haven't. If I tell you that I sneaked a peek at my ink mess, will you tell my partner? I hope not. I was just trying to figure out the ratio because I've been thinking about this for way too long now. The ratio between shimmer and not shimmer, are those inks that I really want to use in pens, stuff like that. And then I figured that there were no labels on the ink vials. The thing is, I think what I'm doing here is not really working, and that's the problem. I think this would be really great to pick out pens and then find inks that match these, but now I have surprise inks and pens that are kind of like that need specific attention. That's at least how it feels to me, which might not really work well. Yeah, I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure, but also, do we care? Yes, but also not really. Let me put that pen back into its case so that it's easier to grab from my glass. I'm deciding not to ink Mary Rose right now, just to give myself the option to ink it at a later date and see what other inks are coming. I mean, I know what inks are coming from the Diamine Inkvent, but not enough to be able to determine whether it's an ink, like how many of those I would want to put into pens, especially the ones that I have selected because they're problem children. And using the Inkvent inks for ink play is definitely something that is very interesting to do because, oh, fuck me. Why? Friends, why? Is there not enough ink in here? Do I have to take it out into the ink miser? Seems like it. Why the heck is it not working? So I already moved the ink over there because obviously I forgot that I turned off. Okay, there almost. That I turned off the camera. So let's try this. There we go. Okay, so it was the miser problem. When I'm using the ink miser, I usually pour back the ink, but often that's not enough. So there's still some ink wasted. It's not really a big problem to me because I'm trying to get more excited about the fact that I'm using ink instead of thinking that I'm wasting ink. I am using the ink in order to enjoy it. So let's pull out that's the wrong notebook. This is a Relic Pens. Whatever kind of model, we don't know, with a zoom nib from The Good Blue. And the ink is Diamine Inkvent Day 6 Fur and Fog. And I can already say that I like this. This is good. So let's ink up the other ink pen. I think I'm going to collect all of the inked pens in here again. I haven't uninked my November inks pens yet, but the more I'm inking up the December pens, the more I'm going to empty out the November inks. And I have to say that I've been using them quite a bit, and there's a lot of them are already on their last leg, which makes me really happy. And clearly we are on December 6th and not whenever you are going to see this video. So by the time you see this, it might already be completely different. So I was really wanting I saw spoilers for the Colorverse Colorvent, and I was very tempted to purchase the Colorvent after the fact. I think I'm out of, I'm safe, but those colors look so good. And I really have to say that I love the 15 ml size for those, because they are just, you know, enough ink. Like, look at this. This is, I don't think you can see this very well. It's half full, this 12 milliliter bottle. And I like that. So this is the elastic. It's not even a little flexy, elastic fine. But I have found that these elastic fine nibs, or this one is quite wet. Bone Crusher. Seven Studios. Velma. This is a poorly controlled Harvest Bell. And as I said, it's an fine, I think they call it flex, it's not. And then this is Tono and Limbs. Holy Night. I mean, you can definitely get a little bit more line variation from this, especially when you like push really hard, than if with a regular fine nib, but it's not the right thing. So yes, I'm actually really liking what I inked right now. I'm glad the waffling worked out. Imagine I'm waffling about this for ages like I did with you just now, and then it's just not working out, and they're really bad pen and ink combos. So I feel like I'm safe from the Colorvent. The reason why I wanted them is because I want to play with all the inks, and those are really lovely. Or at least as far as I can remember. The impression that it left on me when I watched the spoilers was much more positive than the impression that I had after I swatched the Diamine Inkvent. And I think that's why I feel like I have to have it. Now, when I think of it, do I really need 24 more inks right now? I have so many in my drawer. I can just work through them. I can work through all the samples that I have. And if I'm loading up myself with 24 more new inks after getting 25 for the Inkvent plus 12 for the Inkmas, that is already 32, I believe. 12 plus 30, 25 is 30, 7 inks. That's a lot of ink that I want to use sometime during 2026. If I'm loading myself up with 24 more, then I won't be able to just go and buy the new really hip Tono and Lims inks or the other new ink brand that is coming out in 2026 that I don't even know about just yet. So I'm trying to talk some sense into myself, because I know I will want the coolest, new, hippest ink. Yes. And also, as I said in that video, if I put away the money that I would spend on the color event or the Inkvent, the color event is $180. Which, if I put away $180 and buy inks from that money, next year I can almost buy 12 full-size bottles and make my own ink, 12 days of inks, which is something that I'm really thinking about at the moment. Like, why don't I spend that money on those inks and then ink them up, and then it's inks that I really, really want, where I probably won't have to waffle which inks I put in what pen, as much as I'm doing it right now. So that's my learning that I'm taking away from this. Cool. So what other topics did we have for this video? I'm so happy that I can talk to you again. Yes, I had some topics that I wanted to talk about. 2 actually, that are near and dear to my heart. They are not very showy. I don't really have to show you anything, because maybe I should just cut some washi strips while I'm talking, and then you don't have to not look at anything, So the first one is about my Discord server. So I'm not sure if I'm actually including a link to it in the description box on the regular. But I can totally. However, I just want to warn and give a heads up to everybody who has been a member of my community and might have been kicked during Thanksgiving week. It is stated in the rules, and I am really trying to make sure that this is happening, that I am enforcing or making sure that those rules. My server is an active member community, and that means that if you are just reading what other people write and not participating, then you need to find another server where you can do that. People on my server are sharing vulnerable details about themselves often. And yes, that is something that everybody has to decide for themselves. You do not have to share those such details with the community. But we need to know that you are there, and that requires you to participate in some sort of way. And participation is not reading other people's drama. That's not what this is for. So if you cannot commit to participating, I will remove you. And there is no system for it that is foul-proof. I have not found an app or any plugin that I can run and say, hey, if this person hasn't said anything in the last 3 months, please remove them. I have to go in manually and look at the usernames. And if I don't recognize your username, I will basically delete you from the server. Obviously, I am human. Obviously, I make mistakes, and I am usually reading all of the comments and things that are in my server, happen in my server. But if you commented once in the last 3 months and you feel like I treated you unfairly because I didn't recognize your name, then just know that that happens. I'm not excluding you from joining again, but I would like, before you join, I would like you to think about if this then is the right community for you. Yes, it might look like there is a core group of people and they talk about things, they have opinions, they might not be your opinions. And maybe sometimes it feels like you're having a hard time getting into such a, let's say, tight-knit community. But from what I have seen, they are very welcoming. You just have to start talking. And if you don't, then number one, please don't join, or please don't be surprised if you get kicked at some point. Nothing against you specifically, it's just how I want to run my server. And if that doesn't vibe with you, then I would totally invite you to start your own. There's no rule that says that you can't create a community for yourself that you enjoy and that plays by your rules. So that's the first thing that I want to say. And the other thing is a little bit weirder yet, and it has to do with asking companies for free stuff. I recently had a comment under the Asvine video, actually, where someone very loudly said, or it felt very accusingly, that that is not what one does. And that might be your opinion, and you are completely entitled to your opinion, but I would like to elaborate on this a little bit more. If you've been in the fountain pen space, in the YouTube space for a while, you might have noticed that the same people get sent pens over and over again. And a high percentage of that same people are white males. Now, they can't do anything about that, the white males. I'm not saying that they shouldn't get sent these pens, but maybe the fountain pen community was dominated by white males for a long time. These times have changed, and we are a diverse community of fountain pen enthusiasts. We have people of color, we have women, we have LGBTQ, we have so many different fountain pen enthusiasts, and we also have so many different content creators in that space that I find it a bit tacky if you, and by you I mean the fountain pen company that makes these pens, the distributors in the United States, these people who decide who gets to review a pen or not, are sending those things to the same old people over and over again. And I actually, 2 years ago, I think, at the San Francisco Pen Show, it was just after all of those pilot nib sizes went through the community. And they were on, I think, 2 white male channels. And obviously, those people have, no, 3, I think I remember. Those people have a huge following. I understand why you would do that and why you possibly wouldn't send it to me, because I'm opinionated. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not polished. I don't expect people to send those things to me. But I do expect them to broaden their outreach. So I talked to Pilot at the San Francisco Pen Show and said, hey, there is a lot of female content creators out there. I mentioned, for instance, Karina, because, I mean, she has so many followers. I don't even think they sent those pens to Gourmet Pens, which is an old YouTube creator. I think she has been on long before I came into the fountain pen space. So even if you don't trust necessarily me or those new people, there is some opportunity to send stuff to a more diverse group of people. I dropped the ball on that. They gave me the name of the person who would be deciding these things, and they told me to send her an email, which I didn't then, because I kind of lost steam. But I just wanted you to know that the reason why I'm reaching out to a pen brand is not because I want free stuff or because I regard it as tacky. If I would regard it as tacky, I wouldn't reach out to them. I'm reaching out because I think that this community needs, or these companies need to diversify their influencers. And that's why I'm reaching out. And I have reached out to several companies because I don't like talking about this stuff, because usually they don't send me things. As I said, I'm opinionated. I'm not polished. But I have told several companies, hey, I feel like you should send pens to more people, diversify your audience, or not just audience, also, like, why don't they all have very much the same audience. I'm bringing in fresh people, I would believe. Karina brings in new people. I'm thinking of, for instance, Eric. Oh my God, now I don't remember if that's actually his name. I'm so sorry. Amarillo Stationery. Like, there's so many good YouTubers out there who bring another faction of pen enthusiasts to the table that I'm just so amazed at the fact that you would want to miss out on that. And so that's the reason why I reach out to these people. And if Asvine, I think is what they are called, had said, well, sorry, we don't think you're a good fit for me, I would have totally responded with, here are some channels that I would recommend you check out in order to send some pens for review. Because I have done that before. Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn because I don't feel like that's... I just want to see other people in this area succeed. I want them to get some reward, kind of. Also, I feel like if those pen brands send stuff to those content creators, it's kind of a recognition of their validity. So that's why I reached out to pen companies. And Asvine sent me a pen for free. Just a side note, that isn't a free pen. I am filming a video, I'm spending my time, I'm trying to make the video cohesive, I'm trying to tell you my honest opinion about this pen in a way that makes sense to you and to everybody else who's watching this video. So I'm editing the video, I'm making a thumbnail, that takes time. And most likely with an Asvine pen, it's probably easier for me to buy the pen instead of getting the pen for free because it's so cheap. Now, if an Asvine pen can be produced so that I can buy it for 30 bucks, let's wonder how big the margin is that other companies make on pens that are 180 bucks. So I don't know if it might, them sending this pen to me for a review might still be a bargain for them. Enough said. Let's get to some more pleasurable things. I could rage about this the whole time. I also think that that comment where it's tacky for me to ask for a free pen, free in inverted commas, would that comment have been under a male YouTuber's video? Just a question. Is it not appropriate for me as a woman to ask for free stuff and be bold and brazen, or is that only reserved for males? Maybe we need to question our own biases a little bit more and think about these kinds of things when we talk about these things. Like, is it really bad? Why would it be bad? Why am I thinking that this person asking for a free pen is not okay? So I've waffled about this way too long, but I just wanted you all to understand where I am coming from. And if that doesn't vibe with you, I've said it before, there is so much content out there, free content on YouTube for you to watch. You don't have to spend or waste any time on my channel if it doesn't appeal. There's just no need for it, Don't waste your time on YouTube channels and videos that you don't enjoy watching, or where you don't agree with a person's thoughts and stuff. That's just my thought. And yes, it's totally okay not to watch my channel, even though a lot of other channels talk about me often, which I'm so thankful. Thank you so much. When I hear my name on another video, I'm like, it makes me just feel so happy. And a lot of the times it's about the way that I log pens or ideas and thoughts that I had and shared, and that got you to thinking about things. And just hearing that on other channels makes me think that maybe if it's talked to on another channel, maybe a lot more people that don't have YouTube channels also take that stuff. And I love that. I just love that you think what I say is worthy enough to be tried. Okay, so I threw away my trash. I'm going to stop the video and bring over 2 more things to share. It's a completely different topic, knitting. Let's talk about it. So I'm trying to knit 2 different things. I'm working on these are free patterns that you can download. I will link these are the West Coast Mittens by Diana Twiss. If you remember, I have knit this one in May or June. I just sewed in the, what are those? Weaved in the ends, that's what it's called. So this one is actually completed now, and I remember I shared on one of my videos, Snippets videos, where I just had cast on while I was away. Instead of journaling a lot, I knit more, and so I am actually, there's like 7 or 8 more pattern repeats for this one, maybe 6. I'm here, I'm right here. 7 pattern repeats. I'm in the first, I just finished the first one, so I need to do 6 more, then knit several rounds so that it curls down here, cast off, and then knit the thumb, which I'm very excited for. But then this one is done as well, and so far it kind of looks very similar enough for it to be okay and to be its brother. I think I want to knit another set of these, because I thought my climber son would probably like those when he's climbing. And I am trying to knit another free pattern. This is by Pearl Soho. This is the classic ribbed hat in Nye Aran. I obviously am not using the Nye Aran from them. I'm just using the pattern. And this is how far I got. I have cast on this hat at least 4 times. I'm using one-of-a-kind skein from Madeline Tosh, TML Triple Twist. This is a discontinued yarn, or at least in my store it's discontinued. So it was reduced. It's a one-of-a-kind. I think this is a miss dye. It didn't turn out the right color, and so I snagged 2 of these in the same color. I want to knit a hat for my son. I don't think I printed any of the pictures, and I am not getting over the first 2 rows of this pattern. I am knitting them on US 5, so maybe that's not the right size. I am not friends with these short needles. My hands are big, and so this always feels unsupported. When I'm using this, I feel like I have something in my hand that I can lean against, and I don't have that here, and so it messes with my hand. I don't want to, I would love to cast this on these needles, and then maybe move to double pointed needles. I'm really comfortable using double pointed needles. However, especially when casting on, I find it to be a pain in the butt, especially with, I think, 98 stitches that I want to cast on. So I was able to cast it on once. I knit 2 or 3 rounds and I realized it was too big, so I sized down the circumference, the cast on stitches, and then I cast on. I somehow must have twisted my cast on. That didn't work. Then I cast on again. I was able to get to the second round, but for some reason in the second round I must have messed up my stitches, and I suddenly, it's a ribbed hat with one left, one right. I don't know what it's actually called exactly. And I suddenly was knitting the second round, even though I thought I was in pattern and I never found the mistake. I suddenly knit on top of a purl stitch, which shouldn't happen. With an even amount of stitches, I should always purl at the same time and always knit at the same time. So I had to rip it out yet again. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do next. I thought I was going to try this one more time I am considering going up a needle size for the cast on so it's not that tight, because I also am a very tight knitter. But if you have any ideas on how I can get over this cast on, I would love to hear, because I just cannot seem to get it. I tried, so this is a 16-inch cable, I think, a very short cable. This is a 14-inch cable with 5-inch tips. It's too long. This is a long cable. This is a 30-inch cable. So I could do magic loop, but I have not found a good way to do magic loop during the cast on. I'm just not that advanced. Maybe that's just not how you do it. I also thought, well, then I'll just get double pointed needles and try it in the double pointed needles. But I feel like if I need really short double pointed needles, because the longer the needles, the more unwieldy it gets. Ugh, so bad. I'm like, why can I not just cast on this and get it going? I don't know. These are Lantern Moon, and I really like the way they're made. I like that they swivel, I think, or that they're circling here. These are really good needles. I used to love metal needles, but I'm currently really liking the softness of the wooden needles. Ugh. And I want to cast on not at night when I'm all tired. I really want to take the time to actually cast on when I am awake and I can pay attention to what I'm doing. It doesn't seem to actually work though. So that is all, I think, from today. I hope you're still here. If you are, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was so much fun to chat about all things pen and stationery related. Well, mostly pen and knitting. I'm excited to work in my journal for the rest of the day. I'm going out for a hike. So I'm really, really looking forward to all of those things. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Until then, bye.